forward. All right. I think it's going as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it just yelled at me and said, recording in progress.
Yeah, it did for me too.
It's okay, Zoom.
Okay, Karen.
Seriously. Calm yourself.
It's okay. Who hurt you?
There were some Karens in Target today too.
Were there?
Yeah, because you don't have to wear a mask anymore.
Did that officially start? I thought that was June 1st.
So masks for fully vaccinated, you can. You don't have to.
Okay.
But people were like giving us looks because most people were still wearing it, and people were still giving us looks, and they're like, why are you not wearing a mask? And I was like, because I don't have to.
Right.
But
yeah. I'm so torn because it's like, I don't know if I want to get the vaccine. Like, I don't know if I care enough to get it. But also, like, I don't want to have to wear a mask, you know?
Well, you know what my brother-in-law says? He identifies as a fully vaccinated person.
That's a loophole that, like, kind of works. Because, like, what are they going to say?
You identify as a fully vaccinated person.
Come on.
Just saying.
That makes me mad that that kind of works.
Right? It's kind of awesome.
I identify as a kid, so I don't want any adult responsibilities anymore.
Yes. So I don't have to pay for rent.
Right. I identify as a child, so legally you can't bill me.
And I can't work because that's child labor.
Right. You just gonna have to give it to me, I guess.
Just give me the money.
It's okay. I won't tell anyone. It's okay.
All the money.
Money.
All of it.
So anyway, for the podcast, how are you?
Good. It's been a while.
It's been a few weeks. Yeah.
It has.
And it's been even longer since we did the podcast in person together.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because I've been out here I left about a month and a half ago, so it's been a while.
When you said you were finally getting settled.
Yeah, in good old Los Angeles. It's part of it is crazy, just going from a small town in Michigan to all of a sudden I'm in one of the most massive and well-known cities in the world.
Sure.
Like people all over the world know LA, right? Like that's the movie capital of the world. So it's just moving to this new city is like it just hit me like a truck. It's crazy. But I mean, I'm in an area that like where it doesn't feel quite as big. Like it has a bit of more of a neighborhood feel to it. Which is nice. I'm kind of in between downtown LA and the ocean, which is kind of cool too.
So it doesn't even feel like it's like a big city.
Right. Yeah.
You know what's funny though? I've mentioned like to a couple people that like you moved there, and most people you would think they would just assume LA, right?
Right.
Like, and when you hear like California,
right.
And they're like, oh, what part of California? And I was like, you just don't assume LA?
Right. Either LA or San Francisco.
Yeah, right? I was like, oh, LA.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Wow. Crazy.
I know. Do you feel like it's more like home now?
Yeah, more so. Yeah, once I mean, it doesn't even really feel like I left Michigan, like in the apartment. It just feels like my apartment, you know? But yeah, I'm still kind of exploring the area and the bigger parts of the area, like Santa Monica. The pier is always busy. Downtown LA is always crazy, but it's kind of nice. Like my little neck of the woods, it's just, it feels like I'm settling in a lot more, which is good.
That's good.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
100%,
I'm gonna come visit you soon.
You better. Then we can do the podcast in person,
Yeah,
hang out and stuff. Yeah, that'd be good
I definitely want to come.
for sure.
I'll have to find a time. Maybe like we'll talk.
We'll talk. It'll be good.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
So, did you see the exciting news that happened?
If we're both thinking about the same thing, then I probably did.
Friends?
A certain reunion of a group of friends.
That just happened to be coming back,
Next week, right? Like
Yeah.
the 27th of May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's coming on HBO Max, which is weird that it's HBO Max, I guess.
I thought so too.
Yeah, like why HBO Max? I mean, I guess they have Warner Bros. Stuff, which is Friends, I guess.
What is that? I thought like one of the big like channels or stations like just came out with their own streaming service. Like,
Was it Paramount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. Like, when they go through, were they under that? So wouldn't they go through there? But maybe HBO is what they're under. That's why they did
Maybe.
it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's exciting.
Very exciting.
I kind of wanted like a whole season of episodes, but we are not that lucky.
I know.
However,
Or just I would have been okay with an episode.
Yeah.
Just to know where they are now.
Yeah, that would be cool, like an actual episode, but it's more so just the cast members getting together and hanging out, I guess. I don't really know fully what is going to happen, but it's not that long either. Isn't it just like an episode's length?
I don't know.
I thought it was just the length of a normal episode. I could be wrong, but if that's true, that's kind of short too. So
yeah, that doesn't make sense, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like when they got together, they could have provided so much more than just that time length, but I don't know. It's like you're not just gonna hang out for 20 minutes and then leave, really.
I feel like that's kind of a ripoff.
Yeah. Like I said, like I can't complain because like at least this is something, but
I mean, that's very true.
yeah.
We could be getting nothing.
Right. Which, I mean, throughout the years, the cast members have like been interviewed by whoever, and the interviewer is always like, "Oh, so when are you guys doing a reunion?" And they always kind of tease like, "Well, we don't know. We'd like to, but we don't know." So it's kind of cool that like we're actually getting something.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I think it's cool. Like, I actually, when I saw the preview for it, I was way more excited for it because I thought it was going to be like, do you remember when they had that other reunion where it was literally them just on a couch?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be that, and I was like, that's disappointing. But like to see them on the set again, and like,
yeah,
I was like, okay, this is really cool.
Who do you think the first person to get emotional will be?
I don't know. We already showed Matthew Perry get emotional.
Yeah, we don't know when that'll be though. Which I didn't expect. I didn't expect Matthew Perry would get emotional.
Oh, I did.
Did you?
Yeah. Actually, did you hear people were really knocking him about from that preview?
Really? Why?
They were saying he had slurred speech, and I was like, I didn't
notice that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, he has slurred speech. Is he on drugs again? I'm like, or did he have a stroke? I'm like, whoa, he was hardly in it talking. Like,
Right.
let's
Yeah,
watch.
you can't just assume that from a preview.
Where he was hardly talking.
Right.
I was like, okay, calm down.
Yeah. But I was thinking that the first one to get emotional, I was going to think it's Jennifer Aniston.
I could see that. Or, yeah. I was going to say Matthew Perry or Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. Because you could see on the last episode, like the final minutes, like when they're all hanging out in Monica and Rachel's apartment, you can see Jennifer Aniston kind of like it's hard for her to like look at the camera, like because she's getting emotional and stuff. So that's why I thought she would get emotional first.
Weren't we all? Yeah, no, I mean and she's more expressive with her emotions too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some of the other ones hold back
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I could see that. I could see it for sure.
I don't know if I could see Matt LeBlanc getting emotional.
You know what? I would totally agree with you, but then have you seen like the behind the scenes of their last episode?
Not a whole lot.
He was crying.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm. And I was shocked. I was like, whoa.
He doesn't seem like he would be the guy that would though. Like I don't
I
know.
know he doesn't.
He seems like super chill and relaxed and like too cool for school kind of attitude, you know?
I know.
So that's unexpected.
I know. I was literally like, what?
Yeah, it's weird.
But I mean, well, okay. We should place bets
Ooh,
to see who gets emotional. Which cast member gets emotional? Watch it be Lisa Kudrow
right.
or Courtney Cox.
I could see Courtney Cox eventually getting emotional. Maybe not right at first.
And I could see Lisa too, but not at first. Yeah.
I don't know about Lisa. She kind of seems like really chill too, and kind of like I think that she would have that goofball, fun, joking energy, but I don't know if I could see her crying. Maybe though. Maybe.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So, who do you think is the one person that won't cry?
I would, because we know Matthew Perry is going to. But for me, it would be a tie between Matt LeBlanc and David Schwimmer.
Okay.
I don't know if I could see David Schwimmer tearing up. He might get emotional, but I don't know if he would get that emotional. You know.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Watch him be the first one.
Right. How about you?
I would say him.
Okay.
I don't think I can't see him. I could see him getting emotional and like shutting down and like not saying a lot.
Yeah.
Until he composes himself, but I don't see him crying.
Yeah, for sure.
At all. I definitely think, I don't know. I feel like you're right with Jennifer Aniston too, because I feel like Matthew Perry had to be prompted to cry, like something prompted it. Whereas
Right.
Jennifer Aniston just probably was emotional.
Yeah. Well, like you said, she's better about like having those emotions, I guess.
Yeah, she expresses. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So it seems like, what do you think they're gonna do and talk about? Because it seems like they kind of hang out on the set and kind of talk about memories, but like,
yeah.
What else do you think they're gonna talk about?
I think they're gonna do a table read.
Do you?
because it showed a little bit of it. I don't know if they're gonna go into like a full blown table read.
Maybe just like a few scenes.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been trying to think of like what I think it's gonna be. I don't know.
Right.
Well, what's interesting is I feel like there's some weird guest stars on there too.
I noticed that. That's because there are a few that are returning, like guests that have been on the show that are coming back. But yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah, like that's actually kind of cool. But there are some that are really weird. Like, isn't Ariana Grande one of them?
I think so, and Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that's really weird, and I have no idea why they are doing it like that.
I know.
Like, if there are people that can't come back, like that's fine, but don't have random people come back, you know.
There was some like I was surprised that Paul Rudd didn't come back, which I was like, at least I don't think his name was on there.
I don't think so.
Which I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't in the show very much, but I mean, he became an important cast member at the end.
Right. He wasn't on it like there was like more longevity to other characters.
Yeah.
But like he kind of had an important part.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he married Phoebe, so.
Right. I mean,
that's pretty important.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think they're gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool if they recreated some stuff, but or like, yeah, like you said, it would be cool if they did an actual episode of like, hey, here's where they are now. You know, like, that would be cool. I wish they would have done that. I don't know if they'll talk about that at all, but that would be kind of cool for them to predict where they are now, you know, and what they're doing.
They might.
Yeah, so that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might. Or do you know if any of I'm gonna look up. I wonder if any of like the writers are gonna be on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because maybe they can be like, oh, here's what they might be doing.
Yeah. I wonder if they knew that they were going to end at the end of season 10, or if they had ideas for if the show were to continue.
Oh.
And what that would be like. Or if they knew or if they knew like, okay, this is season 10, it's going to be our last season and we're going to plan for that. So I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they flowed it very well.
Yeah.
But then you can tell, like, I feel like I feel like they had to rush a thing for Rachel and Ross to get back together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. That happy ending.
I mean, I don't know. Did you feel that way? I just felt like because they kept with her timeline of her going to Paris until the very last minute.
Yeah.
I felt like they were like unsure of if they were going to come back.
Yeah. I guess I didn't think about that, but that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because think about it. She was going to Paris up until the very last episode.
Right. Yeah.
The phalanges.
Yeah.
The phalanges are broken.
So, by the way, Ross and Rachel, were they on a break?
Yes.
She said it, everyone. She said it.
Did you see in the preview where they were all like, no, and then Matt LeBlanc goes, bullshit.
which is such his character, right?
Right? I was like, they were not on a break. Or they were on a break. Like she literally said, I need a break from you.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't give Ross permission to go and cheat. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, because she said, I think we should take a break. Ross didn't say anything, just walked out. So he didn't deny it. Like, for me, that's kind of like confirming, okay, yes, I agree with you. We should take a break. And then nothing else was discussed.
Well, the way I took it is like, he walked out because he was pissed and he didn't agree. He was like, no, I didn't want to take a break. Right. So, like, I understood, like, I was never understood why Rachel couldn't see that, like, okay, Ross was pissed. Yeah. Like, he didn't, like, he's, like, if you look at it, he said in the, right before, she was like, no, from me and you. He was like, yeah, you're right. Let's go get froyo. Like, yeah. Let's go get some ice cream and then we can talk about it later. Like, yeah. Which would have been the smart thing to do. Right. Yeah. But like, there was definitely some tension in the room though. Well, for sure. I mean, emotions are high, so you're not thinking logically. So like, of course, you know, but I just, for me, I guess I understood how Ross thought they were on a break. Yeah. I never understood how Rachel thought they weren't on a break. Yeah. And to your point, though, that didn't give Ross permission to go off and sleep with someone that night. Like, that's crazy. No, I mean, but I also, people do that shit when they're highly emotional. Right. And they're like, he wasn't thinking clearly. I mean, but it in no way excuses him. But like. And the next day you see that he wakes up next to her and whatever, Rachel comes over to whatever. And you can see that, like, obviously he comes to terms with like what he did. And he's like, oh shoot, like that was a bad idea. Wasn't he drunk or was he drunk or was he not? He was, I think he got drunk that night, but the next morning he wasn't, obviously. Right. Well, and that also makes you poor decisions. So right. I think he was like not super hammered, just like buzzed, but still. Right. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, that's not saying Rachel, so like, I don't think Rachel should just easily forgive him. Right. But like, I also think she bent a little too hard on him. Right. Because I could understand how he was like, she just broke up with me. Right. Because people don't, like, if you think about it, if they were in a very heated argument, right? Yeah. And this might be me, therapist. Right. Vibe coming out. But like, if you're in a heated argument, you're not thinking logically. So Ross isn't sitting there going, okay, she just needs a day to calm down. Like he's thinking, shit, I just lost Rachel. She broke up with me. She just said, we're done. Like, instead of using his logical side of his brain and being like, hold on. Right. Maybe I should just go home and not do anything. You think? And talk to her tomorrow. Wow. What an idea. But when your brain is emotional. Yeah. You're not thinking that way. That's right. And he was probably scared, which fear makes you do shit too. So. Right. Aren't breakups fun? So I did find a list of the guest stars. Okay. What are you doing, Nora? Sorry guys, my niece. So Jack Geller is okay. So Ross and Monica's parents are going to be on there. Tom Selleck, of course. Gunther. Yeah. Joey's hand twin.
That's
Janice.
Janice.
Yes.
I hope she does the laugh.
Oh my
God.
God. What were you gonna say about the hand twin?
That was kind of an obscure one. Like, I didn't.
Random.
That's super random. I mean, it's cool, but like, it's just why that guy over whoever
Yeah.
else.
Which makes me wonder if they're doing a sketch with him.
Maybe, yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
like doing something like not a sketch, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a bit with him.
By the way, going back to Richard, how did you feel about that relationship with Monica on the show?
Ooh.
Yeah, putting you on the spot.
So in the beginning, I thought it was very weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of like as they started dating a little bit more, it didn't bother me as much.
Okay.
I still thought it was weird though.
Yeah. I just asked that because I absolutely did not like anything about that relationship.
Really?
Yeah. And it wasn't really the age difference that bothered me. It was just like, I don't know.
Okay.
I personally didn't feel the connection between them. I just didn't believe it.
I mean,
for me.
fair enough.
Like,
I mean, I thought she was, I could see where you're going with that because I do feel like, I'll put it this way. I felt like Monica was way more into it than he was.
okay, that's
And
interesting.
and in the sense that I just feel like it's the maybe she wasn't, but I just feel like it's the maturity levels. Like he was more mature than she was, right? And
Yeah.
so I feel like they just weren't on that same level
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
each other. And
Yeah.
like and I think that's where you're saying like you didn't feel that connection because it just seemed like their connection was in two different places.
Right. They're two different people.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Yeah, I mean,
So
how did you feel about her with Chandler?
Monica and Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my favorite relationship in the whole series.
Same.
I love it so much more than Ross and Rachel. Like they're a good couple, but they were so on and off, and it was just hard to stay emotionally connected to that. But Monica and
Okay.
Chandler were amazing.
So I'm a huge Ross and Rachel fan. Like, love Ross and Rachel.
Yeah.
But Monica and Chandler are like they're like the solid like couple like that you just say like I love them.
That's the relationship that worked out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Phoebe and Mike were good too, but like that was a much later relationship. So
See, I felt well, okay. In the beginning, I felt Phoebe and Mike like I was like, they don't match.
yeah.
But then I feel like Paul Rudd's goofiness came out, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Like when he changed his name
Yeah.
to Crap Bag.
First name Crap, last name Bag.
Yeah, so like I agree. I feel like Phoebe and Mike just fit.
Yeah.
And I felt like Ross and Rachel fit too.
They did. They definitely had their differences in terms of like he's like this educated dinosaur nerd, and she's more like into fashion and like a little more like girly and ditzy kind of almost. So like they have their differences, but like they made a good couple.
I just feel like where like I don't know, I feel like they were on the same level maturity wise.
Yeah.
And like a lot of other instances, because you're right. I mean, they had a lot of different interests and different like I guess interests, right? Like
Yeah.
she was, but they just fit somehow. Like it just worked.
Yeah.
And I think one of our friends liked Rachel with Joey more, and that weirded me out.
That was weird.
I did not like that, like at all.
I don't know why they did that, but
And did you know that Monica was originally supposed to end up with Joey?
oh really?
Mm-hmm. In the writers, it was supposed to be Monica and Joey that ended up together, and I was like, no, they would be a little bit better than Rachel and Joey.
And the night that Monica and Chandler hooked up, didn't she say that she was drunk that night, and didn't she say like she was meaning to hook up with Joey instead? But she ended up with Chandler because he was the one that was in the room at the time.
I don't think so.
Really?
I could be wrong. Because wait, so they were in London, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When they first hooked up,
Yeah.
they were in London. They were at the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
No. I'm wrong. That wasn't the first time they hooked up. They had hooked up before the rehearsal dinner too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait, did they?
I don't.
Yeah, because that's when she's like, wait, no, they didn't. Because wasn't that where she was saying that that's why she got drunk? Because everyone was asking her
If
when
Ross
she
was
going
her
to get
kid or something
married.
like that.
I think one person did.
And she got all emotional and upset, and then she started drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I mean, she could have said that about Joey, and I mean, I don't remember that, but I haven't watched that episode in a long time, so it's possible.
I think so. I think
There was an episode though where they did an I think it was like an alternative kind of like thing. Oh no, it wasn't alternative. They went back in time when Monica had just moved in and Joey had just moved in.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were gonna hook up.
Yeah.
Her and Joey. So I don't know. I'll have to watch that episode again and see.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have any episodes that you didn't really like, that you were not a fan of? Or just ones that you didn't like as much?
Yeah, I didn't like I don't know why this one stands out to me because it really wasn't that bad. But I just remember I don't know why I wasn't a fan of it. It was Rachel's 30th when she was dating Tag.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I didn't.
Okay, I can see that.
It just wasn't, and I also didn't like when they went to Jamaica because I didn't like the whole Rachel and Joey storyline.
Yeah.
I think those two were, I'm sure there's others, but those two are my.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think the biggest one for me is the one where Ross is going, it's before he goes to an award show to accept an award. And he invites the gang to come and watch him accept it or whatever. And like they're all at the apartment, like getting ready basically.
He was dating Rachel at the time, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, just for me, it just didn't do a whole lot for me.
Is that the episode? Because I want to make sure we're talking about the same one, where Rachel was like not getting ready on time.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't find what she wanted to wear.
And Joey and Chandler were fighting over who got to sit in the chair. I don't know. For me, that just was not my favorite episode. I can't even tell you why. I wasn't a huge fan.
I mean, it's not one that stands out to me either. Like it wasn't a.
So what are some of your favorite ones? And are there, to add on to that, are there any holiday ones that stick out to you?
Yeah, the Thanksgiving one with Brad Pitt.
I was gonna say that's one of my favorite episodes. I love that one. Like the other Thanksgiving episodes are good, but that one, I love it.
And you know what I loved about Friends is they never really did a Christmas one.
Not really.
If you think about it, it was never, they always did Thanksgiving. It was never,
Yeah.
I can't even remember one Christmas one.
Yeah. They did a few New Year's ones. They did a few Halloween ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
The holiday armadillo.
Great.
I like that holiday one. I think the one with Brad Pitt though is the best one.
Yeah, for sure.
And my favorite ones are the one where everyone finds out about Chandler and Monica.
Yeah.
That one's great. It's probably in my top 5.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorites?
So I just love the storyline of Monica and Chandler's relationship and how they got started and how they kind of built it up and all that. I love those episodes. And then I love the one where they ask the other couple about their adoption process. And Chandler goes to the bathroom or whatever, and he runs into the kid and he's like, "Hey, you're adopted." And the kid is like, "I'm what?" And Chandler's like, "Oh no." So he goes back to Monica and he's like, "Honey, we gotta go."
I loved that one. I just love that they even put that storyline in there.
Yeah.
Instead of just like Chandler and Monica just having a baby.
Yeah, that kind of added another layer to it, which is cool.
But that's such a Chandler thing to do too.
Yeah. And the kid is like, "Mom, Dad, I'm adopted."
Why am I adopted?
This guy paid me $20 not to say anything.
Oh, you want to come say hi to Dave, Dora? My dog is like, I hear Dave.
Oh, hey.
It's the man that always brings food.
For a second, I thought you were talking about your niece. I'm like, oh, a human, but I forgot.
No, she's too preoccupied.
That's right.
And
I love the last few episodes too, when they kind of finish it off. It gets you in the feels. And just seeing,
oh my god, the last episode.
Yeah, just seeing Monica and Chandler together with the kids is super cool. And when they come in and show everyone that they have twins instead of just one baby, and everyone's reaction,
right?
I loved it. You see Joe's delayed reaction. Like, oh. So what's the surprise, guys? Oh. That's what I love so much about Joe. It's just his like innocence and his delayed reactions.
And that's why I love one of my favorite episodes is the one where everyone finds out, because Joey's just so innocently there, like, I don't want to keep this secret. Like, I just don't. And then he's like, they know that I know that you know that I know.
And Rachel's like, do they know that we know that they know? And Joe's like, they know.
And then the last one there, she's like, do they know that we know that they know that we know? And Joey's like, I don't even know.
Oh my gosh. And then when Phoebe kind of teases Chandler into spilling, and they get like sexual with each other, but it's so forced. And it's
so awkward.
It's so hilarious. And I can't tell who's more awkward. But
she's like, I'm going to kiss you now.
Is that your bra? He doesn't know how to work it.
Oh, he's like, we are going to have all the sex.
And then it gets me emotional at the very end because Chandler's like, he like breaks and he's like, I love Monica. And Monica comes out and it's like so emotional. It's like, you love me?
It's so great.
And then everyone's like, oh.
She's like, I didn't know you loved her. I thought you guys were messing around. The best Phoebe line though is she's like, maybe I'll touch your biceps and more. And Chandler's like, my biceps and more.
She said she wants to touch my biceps and more.
And more. And I thought at first Monica's like, okay.
And I love how Chandler goes into check with Monica and he's like, did you tidy up in here?
Oh,
It's
it's
so
the
great.
best. It's the best.
Anyway, good stuff.
Another one of my favorite episodes is it's all kind of part of like Chandler and Monica's relationship.
Yeah.
But it's the starting of it. Like the episode where they go to London. I love that one.
Yeah.
And Joey's like, London, baby.
Oh my gosh. It was so crazy the season finale in London where Ross says the wrong name at the altar. I take you, Emily. I take you, Rachel.
I know.
I think that for me, that was one of the most jaw-dropping scenes in the series.
Oh,
because at
100%.
At that point, like, you know, Ross and Rachel. And even Rachel's just like, did he say my name?
That was the funniest thing that she called Phoebe. She's like, what do you think it means? He said my name. I mean, you're right. I feel like everyone's jaw dropped.
Yeah. And
even though we should have expected that. And
for that episode, at least that episode, they did not have a live studio audience because they wanted, well, and also they wanted that moment of like realization to hit everyone at the same time, you know?
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean,
I think.
Well, and they probably didn't want people spoiling it.
Yeah, true.
Because think about that. If you had something that recorded, there's no way you're not saying, like, oh my God.
Ross said the wrong name.
And weren't they, because they were on site, and I think it's awesome that Prince Andrew's wife was on there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Fergie.
Yeah, for sure.
And Joey didn't even know.
You know, another episode that I didn't necessarily love it, but I loved some of the lines was when Chandler slept with one of Joey's sisters and he didn't know which one. And he was trying to find out which one it was because they all looked alike.
That was a good one.
And Joey's like, who did you sleep with? And Chandler's like, I don't know. I don't remember which one.
That one was a good one.
Yeah. I don't know. That wasn't a super high rated episode on my part, but I just loved like Chandler's reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh, let's see. I found on Rolling Stones the 25 best episodes of Friends.
Ooh. What are some of the top ones?
Let's see if we agree. It's taking a while. Okay, so the last one is the last episode.
Okay.
Let's get to, I want to see the top ones.
Yeah.
The one where Ross finds out. So season 2, episode 7. Oh, so it's the one where, which this one's surprising because I wouldn't say this is like the number one for me.
Yeah.
It's when they get together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it, but I don't know if it's my top one.
Yeah, and then the second one is the one with the embryos for Phoebe.
Okay, yeah, I remember that storyline, but which episode was that in the storyline?
So let's see. Okay. So it says nobody starts off with the IVF procedure that Phoebe undergoes to help her brother Frank and his older wife Alice. Oh, that's why. Hold on, what? And it's when Ross does the is this the one with the trivia, the game show?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the one where I think they were fighting for the apartment.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I forgot about that one, which it seems like they're doing in the reunion, that kind of game show thing.
It does.
Because Ross asked, like, how many pages was Rachel's note? And Joey's like, 18 pages, front and back.
Yeah, Mailbox like 18 pages, and Rachel's like, front and back. Which, I mean, in Ross's defense, why are you writing an 18-page?
Like, how long did that take you? Like, that took you a long time.
Why?
I don't know, man. But yeah, that game show episode was a good one.
Miss Chandler Bong.
Speaking of that episode, I do like the one where they go on vacation together and Rachel writes that note. I like those groups of episodes.
Yeah, those are good episodes.
Yeah.
Those are good episodes.
Because they're cooped in at the resort or whatever because it's raining, and Joey's like, let's play strip poker. Mm-hmm. But he ends up like being the only one that takes off his clothes.
And I love how when Monica gets stung.
Yeah. And they have to tell everyone else the story.
Like, we're not talking about that.
Was that the vacation where Chandler started asking Monica why she doesn't like him?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, why don't you like me?
And it's like funny because in a couple seasons you'll be getting married.
Which, oh my gosh, that's another one of my favorite episodes is when they get married.
Yes.
That was really nice.
It's a good episode.
It was funny that Chandler tried to run off because he got cold feet, and they found him and they were like, what are you doing? And they had to tell Monica's parents that, like, oh, we're just playing hide and seek. We have to find him.
I thought their wedding would be a little bit more emotional, but their engagement was really emotional.
Yeah, the wedding that got me, but you're right. Oh my gosh, the engagement, that was cool. And also kind of leading up to it, that Chandler was trying to like distract Monica from the fact that he was going to propose because he wanted it to be a surprise. And then she ended up proposing to him.
But then she was going to Richard.
Yeah.
I was like, No.
And then it got me emotional, like right before the engagement, where Chandler is like, he's emotional because he's like, oh my gosh, I drove her away because I was being stupid, and now she's going off with another guy and she's leaving me. And then he enters the apartment and she's there with all the candles and stuff. And I remember when I first saw that, I'm like, dude, that's how I want to propose.
Oh my God. Like it I just felt so bad for Chandler.
Yeah. And then you see him enter the apartment and starts to get emotional. And Monica's like, there's a reason why girls don't do this.
Yeah.
And then Chandler's like, okay, I can do it. Just give me a minute.
It was so cute.
Yeah. And
Like,
then and then once they're engaged, everyone else walks in and they're like, ah. And Monica's like, we're engaged. And I'm like, yeah.
even just thinking about it is so cute.
Yeah. And then they're like, wait a minute, Ross isn't here. And Rachel's like, oh, he's done this before. He knows what it's about. He's done this like 100 times.
That was the best part.
And then Monica's out on the balcony screaming out, I'm engaged. Yeah. That whole engagement was awesome. I loved it.
It was.
Those might be some of my favorite episodes.
I also liked so, and I was gonna ask you this earlier too. I feel like those are like the episodes that like the complete episode was good.
Yeah.
But there's like other episodes where like I don't remember the episode in the entirety of it, like the storyline, the arc of it.
Yeah.
But I remember like, but it's so pivotal. Like every Friends fan knows lines from those episodes.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just thinking of like Pivot. Like
Pivot.
I don't Pivot.
I love the blooper of them doing that, and they're just cracking up the entire time. Like they can't get through it.
But if you think about it, no one remembers. Well, I don't remember exactly what the storyline is.
Yeah.
In that episode.
Right. But that scene.
And then Chandler, pivot. Or what does he say? He's like, shut up.
You know, another episode that I loved, I think it was one of the earlier ones. It's the one about the blackout, and Chandler is stuck in the terminal with the model.
Oh, yeah. And
she offers him her phone to like call someone, and he calls Joe, and he's like, I'm stuck in a terminal. Joey's, and everyone else is like, what is he saying? Joey's like, he's stuck in a terminal with a model.
Like Joey just got it.
Yeah, of course. It's that bro language.
It is. Apparently.
Right. So another thing is, what are some of your favorite and least favorite relationships? Not the main ones like Monica and Chandler, Ross and Rachel, like some of the other like more random ones like guest stars. Some that you like and some that you don't like.
Okay. So Rachel and Bruce Willis was really weird.
Yeah.
I felt it was like very strange.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not one that I like really have any feelings towards, but it's not one that I'm like okay with.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually liked Phoebe and David, the Russian. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Chandler and I forgot her name, but it's the one that was dating Joey, but then started dating Chandler.
Oh yeah.
That one I didn't like.
No, I liked her more with Chandler, but I mean, both relationships were not my favorite.
Yeah. And honestly, I still cannot decide how I feel about Chandler and Janice.
That's interesting because I was going to bring that one up too. I like the humor that came out of that relationship. And like Janice as a character is funny, but yeah, I don't know about the actual relationship. I think overall I'm not a huge fan of it, but there are parts of it that kind of make me laugh or make me be like, oh, but overall, I don't know.
Well, I think part of why I thought like why I what kind of leaves me like questioning is because I think Chandler was really trying to make it work.
Yeah. There were some moments after the relationship that like he was just doing stuff out of an act of desperation. Like he felt like he had no other options but Janice.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up marrying someone else.
She like her character, you love to hate her, but like you want to hate her, but you also don't.
Right.
Like I don't know.
Oh my gosh, when she's in labor having kids and she's having contractions and
Okay, that actress, I think deserves
she deserves an Oscar.
like the oh my god.
She's so good.
Literally. Oh my god, she is. Though.
Like, yeah, I don't know how they did that. Like they made it so like you have to not really like her, but it's so hard to not like her, you know?
Yeah, like
you want to like her so much.
I like didn't want to like her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's like a weird thing where it's like I felt I should be more annoyed with her than I actually was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to be more annoyed with her than I actually was.
Right. Another relationship that I'm not quite sure how I feel about it I think it might have been Fun Bobby.
Oh.
Where like he was only fun because he was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. Like I kind of have like a love-hate relationship with that one. Like it's kind of funny how that relationship was, but at the same time, it's like it wasn't the best situation, you know?
Yeah. I also feel like Monica was trying to make that work way more than it naturally was supposed to.
And then he stopped drinking and he became like depressed because he wasn't drinking anymore. And it's like, well, what do I do now?
Right? Yeah, well, what about you? What are some that you liked outside of the main ones?
I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth about the girl that went from Joey to Chandler. Like,
I know.
sometimes I like it, but I think in some situations it was kind of cool. Like some episodes, it was better than others. But I don't know. I kind of like that one a little bit. Phoebe and Mike were obviously awesome. Another one that I did not like was when Phoebe dated the therapist or whoever he was, the psychologist guy, and he was like the guy with the glasses and the slick back hair, and he was like analyzing all the friends.
Why do I remember that?
Here, try
Was that
Googling.
earlier?
It was kind of mid-series, I think. Try Googling it.
Okay.
Like Phoebe dating therapist guy or whoever he was.
Because I remember she went on a date with the food critic.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. For me, that relationship was like,
But
I did not like it.
oh, was it Alec Baldwin?
No. That was a relationship that I really liked though. The Alec Baldwin one.
Oh, Roger.
Roger. I hated that guy.
I don't even remember him.
Yeah, he was like all of the friends were like trying to like him, but then he would analyze them, and they like ended up one by one hating him for it. And then Roger ended up freaking out around Phoebe, and she's like, "Oh, I see why everybody hates you."
Oh, now okay. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Yeah, that was not.
And
he was just bad.
Yeah. And another relationship that I kind of like it is when Ross dated, is it Julie? Earlier on, before he dates Rachel. Like he met her on a business trip or whatever it was. And they were going out for a while. I liked their relationship, even though like it wasn't that funny of a relationship. Like there wasn't a lot of humor that came out of it. I think that's what it is. But
they felt solid.
Yeah, it was a good relationship.
They felt solid. Like it was, yeah.
Like if Rachel had not happened, like I feel like they could have made it.
I agree. I feel like that out of, besides Rachel, of course.
Right.
I feel like that was the most like natural relationship for him, where it didn't seem like he was like being Ross.
Yeah.
Like it was just solid. Like, yeah, that one didn't bother me. And it should have, because at that time I still wanted Ross and Rachel to get together. So I shouldn't have liked him with Julie, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Another one that I liked, this wasn't really a relationship, but it's when Joey had the Australian girl as the roommate.
Oh.
That was good. And he was like, "How you doing?" And she's like, "I'm fine." And he's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, dear God." The one time him flirting did not work.
Right.
Like he even tries it out earlier on Phoebe, and he's like, "How you doing?" And she's like, "Oh."
Okay. Can we talk about how I feel like Joey and Phoebe, they should have explored that?
Yeah. Because you have Ross and Rachel, you have Chandler and Monica, Joey and Phoebe. Come on.
And I just feel like there was some tension there sometimes.
Yeah, because they were obviously good friends and like very close, but like you could have explored that, I feel like. Maybe instead of Joey and Rachel, try Joey and Phoebe. I feel like the series overall wouldn't have changed that much if they had made that switch.
No. Because if I didn't feel like the Rachel and Joey, it seemed so random.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Because there was a moment, I forget when Phoebe's really upset about something and she's like, "I just want to complete like this list that I have." And like one of them was, "I just want a kiss from someone that I really care about." And Joey ends up doing it. And it's like, dude, you could have explored that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't think they should have ended up together, because I think her and Mike were perfect. But they could have explored it.
Yeah. One thing I would have liked to see by the end of the series was that Joey actually found someone.
I was just thinking that it would have been nice to see Joey get his happy ending too.
Because like everyone else did find someone. Even Janice had someone. But yeah, Joey stayed single, which is like, I guess that kind of follows his character, the single guy who's very flirtatious, but like you could have had him end up with someone.
But I also think they grew his character so enough that it wouldn't be like out of the ordinary for Joey. You know what I mean? Like they grew his character enough to know that like, hey, Joey was ready. He wanted someone.
And yeah, he definitely like if he cares about you, like he really cares, like genuinely. Like him and Chandler's relationship was amazing.
Dude.
Like aside from Monica and Chandler's actual relationship, Joey and Chandler's bromance.
Oh my God.
Was amazing.
Their bromance was great.
Yeah. Like when him and Monica have to move to the new house and he has to say bye to Joey. And he's just like, so awkward cool guy handshake or weird hug. And they do the awkward cool guy handshake. And then they look at each other and like, they bring it in.
I know.
Like, why does this hit me so hard?
Right? Oh my God. And that, oh my God, when they destroyed the foosball table together too.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this hurt?
And Monica has to tear it apart.
Yeah, because they can't.
And then it's like, here's some tools. She's like, yeah, that just slows me down.
I think, okay, so me and my cousin, you've met him, we get into this fight all the time because I always say that Friends is better than How I Met Your Mother, and Chandler and Joey's romance is better than Ted and Barney, or
the other guy.
Yeah. And he hates Friends. He thinks Friends is awful, and I'm like, it. And his reasoning is it's unrealistic because no 20-year-olds go and sit in a coffee shop that much. And I was like, first of all, have you ever been to New York? Because pretty sure they do.
Right.
And I was like, what's the difference between a coffee shop and a bar? They go to a bar, How I Met Your Mother, all the time.
Right. Yeah.
But I think Chandler and Joey had a much more real romance than what was on How I Met Your Mother.
As a member of the bro committee, I can verify that.
Can you?
I can. Yeah. As having a few bros myself, I can confirm that that is the feeling. Like that relationship is like, yeah, that describes it pretty well.
It's just more real.
Like we're gonna joke around, we're gonna be goofy, we're gonna sass each other, but like at the end of the day, like you're my bro.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
And I just think Friends is overall better than How I Met Your Mother, but
it is. It was so well done, well written. They had a perfect cast.
Honestly, I could not see anyone else playing those characters and doing it like those actors did.
And they even said like off camera, like throughout the 10 seasons, like they became a family.
Mm-hmm. You can tell, like when Jennifer Aniston, like, have you ever heard her talk about Matthew Perry?
Maybe not.
When she like, I don't know what I saw, but when she was talking about him, she first doesn't even call him Matt. She's like, Maddie. And like her face just like, I don't know, like,
yeah,
it just was like there was like a softness
in
how she was talking about like him and I mean even Lisa Kudrow, like
Yeah.
when they just all have a softness when they talk about each other. Like they
you don't do that with each other if it's a bad show. By the way, can we talk about Lisa Kudrow's laugh? That is the most amazing laugh I have ever heard in my life.
I love her laugh.
It's so pure and energetic, and it makes you laugh.
Hold on. 1 second, everyone.
Oh boy.
Her laugh, I just feel like she's just this like ray of sunshine.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like she just seems like she's just so happy and like just always like amazing.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Oh boy.
One second.
Okay.
Monica's, you can eat. It's allowed to have it. Please, I can throw wet paper towels here. But Monica's.
I just love her laugh.
It's so great.
You can't even imitate it.
Right, you can't. I don't want to.
No. No.
Also, Matthew Perry's sense of humor is amazing. And you can totally tell that I feel like some of his humor comes across in his character too, you know?
1,000%.
Like he's such a naturally funny guy.
Could he be any funnier?
I love, I think he was asked like what one of his favorite jokes was. And it's when he goes up to Joey and he's like, Joey, you need to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Yes. His humor isn't that, it's like that, like, I don't even know how to, it's like dry, but not like British dry humor.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just like
I don't know. Or one of the bloopers when I think it might have been Joey who was patting out some smoke on Monica's chest, and Chandler comes in and he starts patting her chest too.
I remember that. I just feel like they all kind of embody their characters a lot.
Yeah.
But like
sure.
Matthew Perry's humor, that's why Chandler's my favorite, because his humor is like, out of all of them, is funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
Because he's so just like sarcastic with his humor.
Yeah.
But like there's a directness to like there's a truth behind his humor, but he's presenting it like as not.
Well, I think it was Rachel who was like, oh, but when I tell a joke, like you guys don't laugh, but when he tells the same joke, it's funny. And Chandler's like, it's about the timing.
He's just great.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry's honestly one of my favorites.
Oh, I love it.
I love Matthew Perry.
Like even out of every show, like Chandler as a character is so amazing. It's one of my top favorite characters.
I was going to ask you if you have a favorite like Friends.
Yeah, it's Chandler. Absolutely.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Phoebe's a close second. Well, okay. I don't know. It's hard who my second is. I find Phoebe very entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think Ross would be my favorite second.
Okay.
Just because I think he's funny too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He has his humorous moments.
Yeah, for sure. I would say out of the ladies, for me, it's a toss-up between Jennifer Aniston, Rachel, and Monica. I like both of them.
I would agree. If like the girl side,
yeah,
Phoebe would be the last.
Yeah, But
I love Phoebe, but like,
you know, another relationship, I just thought about this, for me was really weird, was when Ross dated the college girl.
you know what? I was thinking about that when we were talking about it. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel.
Because like Monica and Richard, like with Ross and this girl, it's like there was just like the age gap made it, the age gap didn't bother me, but it was just the fact that the age gap was such, it affected the relationship so much, just their personalities.
I think with the college girl, I liked Monica and Richard a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than I feel like it had more substance. Monica and Richard, there was more like, I don't even know if substance makes sense.
Because wasn't the college girl like one of his students?
Yeah.
Yeah, that made it kind of weird too.
And wasn't that Bruce Willis's daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, because that's how Rachel met him.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't how Rachel met him.
Okay.
It was a weird relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just thinking, like, it is really hard to pick a favorite, because sometimes Joey, there's certain episodes where I really love Joey.
Yeah, he has a lot of great moments.
And you feel for him, because I feel like he's one of those people that, like, you know, he wants those deeper connections, but everyone portrays him as this like shallow, just playboy.
Which makes me laugh. One of the episodes where he gets like the encyclopedias, right? But like, can he? Isn't he like just able to afford one of them?
I think so.
It's like, all right, which letter do I pick? And then he tries to use the words in conversation, but he doesn't do it right.
Or when they built that thing and the guy robbed them because he tricked Joey into thinking he couldn't go into the little whatever it's called.
And he comes back and he's like, "Where's all the stuff?" Chandler's like, "You're an idiot."
There's an innocence to Joey that you just have to love.
Yeah. And like
love it.
And like when him and Chandler get the canoe in their apartment, and that's where they eat and hang out, is in the canoe.
Oh, can we talk about the chicken duck?
I wasn't as cute. Okay, no. I actually like the chicken and the duck. They're like that. I feel like brought Chandler and Joey close together.
I loved just, it wasn't like a big part of the storyline, but it was like a good part of the storyline.
Yeah.
I love the episode. I don't know why. I remember I was sick and I was watching this episode for the first time, when I was watching the series for the first time. I literally could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that funny of a scene. Right. I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but it was when Chandler was like talking to the duck and he's like, and then what happened? And then and then the chick started, he's like, "You will get your turn." I don't know why I thought it was so funny.
It was. You know what I was thinking when you mentioned the chicken and the duck? The animal that I did not like was the monkey. I was not a fan of the monkey.
It didn't bother me, but I wasn't also like into it.
Yeah. I was glad when it was gone.
I just it felt out of place.
Yeah.
It felt out of place. And like why would Ross get a monkey?
Right.
It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can agree with that one.
Yeah. This is another moment that I loved. When every morning Joey would go out the window of his apartment and sing with that guy in the building next door.
Yes.
And then when they switch apartments with Monica and Rachel has to wake up to that every morning. And she's like, stop it.
Are there some of things that you like? What are the most quotable things for you in Friends?
I mean, Janice, oh my God. And then Joey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Dude, that related to that, I actually, like an idiot, tried using that on a girl.
What?
Yeah.
I need to hear this story.
So it was a girl that I had a class with, and like we had talked a few times, and kind of, I don't even know if there was anything that prompted me to say it, but I just said it because we were in
The
mid
way
conversation.
in the tone Joey says it too.
Not really. It was a little more casual.
Okay.
But I said it, and she said, she's like, "Is that from Friends?"
You're like, that's not how you're supposed to respond.
It's like, not only did I get caught, you know the reference, like, oh, this is a failure. This didn't work.
I love it.
I did not at the time.
Well, I can imagine.
But
I could imagine.
It's fine now. It's great. I have not tried it since for good reason.
No. Well, I think that is probably one of the most quotable things.
Yeah.
Lines. That and oh my God.
Yeah. And a lot of Chandler's sarcasm as well.
Could I be?
Right. Because even for the reunion announcement, Jennifer Aniston was like, could we be more excited?
Oh, it's a
thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Wasn't it like some kind of costume party? Maybe it was Halloween or something else. That was it Joey that dresses up as Chandler and he just comes in with a sweater vest on?
Yeah, and then he goes, could I be? Oh, no. That's when he was wearing all the clothes. He goes, could I be wearing any more clothes?
Maybe if I wasn't going commando. And Chandler's like, ah.
Oh my God. I also, so surprisingly, I quote Phoebe a lot. I was like, that is brand new information.
You already knew? Yeah, we already knew.
Or I'll be like, my eyes. My eyes.
Touch your biceps and more.
Oh my God. There's so many quotables.
Yeah.
Or Ross. I will quote Ross a lot. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I don't know why my voice is coming out all loud and squeaky.
I'm fine.
Really, I'm fine.
My fajitas.
Ross, you're carrying a hot pan with bare hands.
Oh.
The only weird thing would be if you guys didn't like Mexican food because I'm making fajitas.
And then he goes, he's like, my fajitas.
And then a days later, he's like, I don't even know what that was for.
So good. So good. I can't.
LOVE, love. What is love? And Rachel's like, oh my God, are we supposed to answer?
Which, I mean, I always thought that episode, it was like, why did they even think that that was a good idea?
Right.
Like, what in Rachel's head was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go to my ex-boyfriend's house with my new boyfriend, who they're like friends, like
Yeah.
who's a part of our friend group. Like,
Going off that, another relationship that I did like was Ross and Charlie.
I didn't like them, but I think that's because they worked and I wanted him with Rachel.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
because
was
I
like,
think that's why I did like it. It's because they were pretty compatible with each other.
yeah, and I think that's why I didn't, because I was like, no, he's supposed to be with Rachel.
Yeah.
Got you.
Which like you kind of know by that point that they are going to end up together, I think.
Well, a lot.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I wonder if they're going to talk about, like, if the writers had any kind of plans like that with them. Like,
Yeah.
if the writers always knew Ross and Rachel were going to end up together.
Yeah.
Or if that was like a up in the air thing.
Yeah. Because like you said, like Monica and Chandler were not supposed to end up together.
No.
But they did.
And even after they hooked up, they weren't going to stay together. But
yeah.
the fans liked it so much that
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's because no one really saw it coming.
Yeah. And I
Like,
think
did you?
no, but it is crazy because like
sense.
yeah, and Monica and Chandler, like that was a really good relationship, but I feel like Ross and Rachel, like that's to this day like the most talked about relationship in a show, like Ross and Rachel.
Yep. And you know why I think I like Ross and Rachel so much is because I feel like, one, I think it's so cool that Ross is like, that was my crush.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, but I also think it was just nice that like there's just something there between them
Right.
that you're just like, you guys work.
Yeah, for sure.
You just work.
Yeah. And it's like it's just so talked about because it's like they're so good together and it's on again, off again. And like, were they on a break?
They were.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what would you say? Were they on a break?
Yeah. Again, like we talked about earlier, like that doesn't give him the excuse to sleep with someone else that night. But yeah, they were on a break.
But if you think about it, I just don't understand why everyone made it out to be like, if you think about it, he's not the first like guy who's feels like they've just been broken up with
Yeah.
and goes and sleeps with someone else.
Right.
That's like literally Dirk Bentley has a song about that.
Right.
Like how guys will do that when they break up. And
Yeah.
it's different how girls react when they break up. Like
Yeah.
he's not the first person to do that. I don't know why it seemed like this earth-shattering, like
Yeah.
it's like, okay, no, still doesn't give him the excuse and he still shouldn't have done it, but like also not the first guy to deal with his emotions like that. So
I think people freaked out over that so much just because they wanted it to work.
oh, I agree.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
It is crazy because I think the majority of people I've heard respond to that is that everybody says no, they were not on a break.
I know.
Like
literally,
I feel like
we're the only people I've heard say they were on a break.
Yeah, like, and it's a mix too. Like guys and girls will say like, no, they were not on a break.
Mm-hmm.
Which like, you're wrong. Which by the way, the guy that plays House, he confirmed to Rachel that they were on a break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember on the plane out to London?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, it's very clear that you were on a break.
Yeah.
So,
because you cannot literally say to someone, I need a break from us, and not have them expect them to hear that as we're on a break.
Right. Come on.
I mean, so let's think about it. If your girlfriend said to you, I need a break from us. How would you take that?
You're like, okay, we're on a break now.
Right?
Like, unless you tell me otherwise, we're on a break.
Right.
Like, you just don't put that out in the open and don't follow through with that.
If you need a break, to calm down.
Right.
Like, you don't say, I need a break from us. Like,
Yeah.
they were on a break. It makes
Yeah.
literally no sense when people say they were not on a break. Yes, they were.
They were.
They were.
100%.
Rachel initiated
Right.
putting that out there.
Yeah, you can't expect to get mad about something like that when you're the one that initiated it.
Okay, first of all, it's not like Ross was the one that was like, I want a break and then went and slept with someone. If
Right.
Rachel had not said that, he wouldn't have slept with that person.
Right.
So,
Right. You don't say.
whose fault is it?
Right. Clearly, the fault is Janice.
God, I'm such a feminist. Yes, it's Janice's fault.
Clearly.
Didn't Ross date Janice for a second?
Yeah, it was, I think so.
Like very briefly,
Like
right?
it was so brief, but yeah, I think so. Which, no.
I feel like Janice dated all of them.
I don't know if she dated Joey. I think didn't they spend some time together? And
Maybe that was it.
yeah, and Chandler was like, yeah, see, you guys spent some time together. Wasn't that great? And in front of Janice, Joe was like, yeah, it was really awesome. She leaves and he's like, I hated it. I hate her so much.
I feel like that is, I don't know. Janice just, I feel like you're right. Because I feel like she did date all of them. Because I feel like I remember her saying something like, oh, no, I've dated all of them.
Yeah. So interesting.
Now this makes me want to rewatch the show.
Right. The entire show.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Well, if you were back in Michigan,
You know, if you were out in LA,
I guess if you could say it that way too.
you know.
Listen,
Anyway.
if I didn't move so far away, I would have moved.
Okay.
Oh, what any chance to get out of Michigan.
Right. Yeah.
But
Anyway, I guess that's about it. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what the reunion is going to include. It's going to be
I am too. I'm excited. I think it'll be cool because we kind of put our predictions out there. So it'll be cool to see how they match up with the actual reunion.
Yeah. And it's just cool to kind of relive some of the good moments of the show and the bad ones. Yeah, it was great.
It makes you want to watch it again because there's like a nostalgia to it.
Yeah. And you know, one of the biggest things that people have brought up about the show is like, how could they afford those apartments?
I was literally just thinking that.
Like, Rachel, especially at the beginning, Rachel, you're a whatever waitress at a coffee shop. Monica had not had her own.
It's a bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's a bit unrealistic.
And like Chandler, I can make sense because he has like that stable job.
But also the difference between Chandler's apartment, like,
yeah,
it wasn't big, it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
Compared to Monica's.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how much chefs make in New York City.
Right.
But
at that point early on, she didn't even have her own restaurant yet.
But didn't they explain how? Because it's something with like her grandma. They didn't know that the grandma was dead or something. So
Oh,
they're like paying, getting the rent really, really, really cheap somehow that way.
yeah,
I think they tried to explain it because I think a lot of people were like, how are
yeah,
you affording that apartment in New York? First of
right.
all,
And like, how does Ross end up getting his own apartment that's that nice?
yeah, because I'm pretty sure, well,
Because it's like, if you guys weren't in the middle of New York City, like might make a little more sense. But like, you guys are in the middle of New York City
yeah,
in
I mean,
in a massive apartment building.
and I don't imagine having your, well, if he's a professor and works at the museum, he's got to make a
Maybe,
good salary. So that could be how.
but it
The
also
only one
makes,
that doesn't make sense is Monica.
yeah,
I am Phoebe because she's a massage therapist. How does she
yeah,
have her own apartment?
yeah. That's weird.
How?
Right.
And it's also interesting though, because we never really go into her apartment a lot. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
And
It's
But I mean,
also crazy that like they all at some point lived in that apartment.
yeah, except for, oh no, even Joey did.
Yeah.
Did Ross?
I think Ross was the only one that did not.
Yeah, I think so. You're right.
But everyone else did, which is weird.
I know, isn't it? It's literally, yeah, they all did.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that apartment.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that apartment.
If you would have gotten that apartment, I would have moved to LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
One,
that apartment is sweet.
one condition, you have to live with Joey and Chandler. Oh, okay.
It just sounds like torture.
I guess I'll have to suffer through that.
I don't know if I'll be able to handle.
I don't think so.
Nope, that just sounds awful.
Anyway,
Living with Joey and Chandler. But yeah, well, we could probably talk forever about Friends.
we probably could.
Such a good show.
It's a great show. But
Probably my favorite.
yeah, it's up there for me for sure. Definitely my top 5.
100%.
So yeah.
All right. Well, then we'll probably be back next week
Probably.
with more Friends and talking about the reunion.
Yeah, that would be cool. We can kind of do a recap of what we saw and see if any of our predictions came true.
I think so. And just talk about how we felt,
Yeah,
how
for
we felt
sure.
about it.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
sounds good.
I guess that about does it for the podcast.
Yeah.
So I guess we will talk to you guys when we next talk to you.
Whenever that is.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time.
Bye.